White House Chief of Staff Mulvaney says Catholicism is driving policy in the Trump administration. Catholic principles may be driving presidential policy for the first time in years, says Acting Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney. The president has allowed us, Christians of all denominations, folks from all different faiths, to be very vocal about their faith, and to practice their faith, and to take their faith and work it into our policies. I'm comfortable as a Catholic, even though I work for a gentleman who is not Roman Catholic, that the principles of our faith are alive and well respected in this administration, and are driving many of our policies. We were told in Revelation 13 that the second beast, America, would form an image to the first beast, the papacy. The papacy is a uniting of church and state, with the church directing the affairs of the state. So what would the image of the papacy in America be? The same uniting of church and state, with the church directing the affairs and policies of the state. Does Rome have power in America? Yes. See this photo of Trump flanked by Roman Catholic priests. In order for the United States to form an image of the beast, the religious power must so control the civil government that the authority of the state will also be employed by the church to accomplish her own ends. And what is the plan of the religious leaders? To enforce the mark of the beast, the Sunday rest law, in honor of their false Trinity God. And whether Trump holds the presidency or not matters little, because Satan has already put the church-state system in place in America. The final step is for this image of the beast to receive power to speak and cause the world to bow to its worldly authority. But the only authority we bow to in religious matters is Jesus Christ. Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world." John 18 verse 36. Friends, please don't be deceived into following these so-called Christian leaders. The reason the majority will end up with the mark, name, or number of the beast is because they follow man instead of Christ. But the true people of God follow the Son of God alone and are not defiled with the fallen churches of Babylon. Revelation 14 verse 4. Please make sure to check out Who is Antichrist page, America and Bible Prophecy, The Mark of the Beast, Is the Trinity Biblical, and What is the Image of the Beast? Thank you for listening. God bless.
And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
This organization proposes in every possible way to aid in preserving Sunday as a civil institution. Our national security requires the active support of all good citizens in the maintenance of our American Sabbath. Sunday laws must be enforced.
Previous popes have spoken out about the environment, but none made it such a priority. Pope Francis is essentially moving doing your part for the environment into the realm of obligation. But will that translate into action?
So we can't save the world by playing by the rules, because the rules have to be changed. Everything needs to change, and it has to start today.
Hallo alle zusammen.
When do we want it? Now! Do something drastic!
Est-ce qu'on la finira tous nous dans 10, 20 ou The Prime Minister was telling me in the meeting we just had that climate change corresponds to the battle of our lives from the point of view of Fiji and the Pacific. As Secretary General of the United Nations, I have many battles, but I have no doubt to say that as a grandfather, this is also the battle of my life. And we absolutely need political will, a much stronger political will, to be able to reverse this trend and to be able to rescue our planet. And nowhere better than in the Pacific, we feel the moral obligation to do so, to rally the whole international community for this objective, the moral obligation.
This is the defining issue of our time.
That's why I'm for climate action.
I am for climate action.
I'm 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 for climate action. Are you?
And now we're learning that scientists and researchers are looking at how to change the weather on purpose. That's right. Michio Kaku is a physics professor at City College of New York. Professor, lasers, really, to change the weather?
Everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it. We physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially a game changer. When you have water vapor and you have dust particles or ice crystals, you can precipitate rain. By firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electrons, creating what are called ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning. CIA used this to bring down monsoons during the Vietnam War, to wash out the Viet Cong.
So what you're saying is our government gave the Roman Catholic Church the power to decide what happens on our Capitol Hill.
Yes, absolutely. That's what we witnessed, yes.
So you are stationed right next to the Senate building.
Mm-hmm.
Are you seeing anything interesting going on over at the Senate building while you're right next to it?
We saw a great number of interesting things. But I think one of the things that really just, it was a sad thing, because as Americans, we believe in a separation of church and state. And we saw many meetings take place, and we were told, because we asked, why are all these Catholic priests, one car after another with these Catholic priests, and I say car, most of them are like motorcades and stuff like this, pulling up, and these dignitaries and officials from the Vatican going into the building one after another. It's one thing if the Pope is to come and make a speech, but it's another thing, why do you have these legions of teams of Vatican officials that are going into the Senate building and meeting with Congress and the Senate, and what is it that they're doing for days leading up to this meeting? And so we asked, we said, what's going on? And they're like, well, we're having meetings. And since our proximity, we had this sign, and on the sign we had the pure woman from Revelation chapter 12. We were under this banner, these are those that keep the commandments of Jesus. And so, but this little image that we had on there of the pure woman, it looked like Mary. And one of the things that we figured out was that Catholics and these Catholic priests were being drawn to our demonstration because we really looked like people that were there to support the papal visit. And they would get up to where we were, and they saw we had some tables out, and they would look on the tables and they would see Great Controversy, and they would be like, oh. And I said, well, what are you guys exactly doing in here? What are you doing in there? And they said, well, we're here with the advance team from the Vatican, and we're here to train the U.S. Senate on what specifically the Pope's climate change agenda is about and educate them as to what we're trying to achieve. And that's when I said to them, I said, you know, I read the Pope's climate change encyclical, and I noticed that the Pope mentions the Sabbath in the encyclical. And he talks about animals having a day of rest, and I'm putting two and two together, and it looks to me like the Pope wants to have a Sabbath rest for the land, a Sabbath rest for the environment. And it seems to me like the Pope wants to have a worldwide Sunday law put in place, and through this green Sabbath, I didn't say green Sabbath, but through this Sabbath rest for the land or for the environment, that the whole world would shut their businesses and factories and everything down one day a week, and thus you'd be able to lower greenhouse emissions. And he looked at me and he goes, that's exactly what this is about. And with that, they just turned on their heels and walked away.
You're seeing the papacy and you're going into the Senate House, and what you're finding out is they are basically laying the groundwork for a Sunday law.
That's correct. But using this as, you know, who wants everything to be polluted, right? Nobody wants pollution. Nobody wants our rivers and streams polluted or anything like that. And so what they're trying to do in the guise of being environmentalists is to say, hey, we need to help rebuild society. We need to heal the land and all this kind of stuff. And the best way we can do it is by having a green Sabbath.
Tell me a little bit about the people's reaction. You were able to kind of pose some questions.
First question is, do you believe that climate change is man-made?
I definitely believe that man has played a significant role in it, yeah.
Now, do you believe that climate change is man-made?
I feel like it could be possible, yeah.
Okay.
I feel like we could play a role in it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you believe that climate change is man-made?
I believe that a great portion of it is man-made and that we have to do something about it.
And one of the concepts would be to have mandatory forced closings on Sunday, so that not only could families spend time together, but that it would actually also lower greenhouse gases. Would you support something like that?
Yeah, I guess I would. Yeah.
You would?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would.
It's coming.
Let me ask you a question. Would you support a law that mandated that all factories and businesses and shopping centers and things like that be closed one day a week to reduce greenhouse gases around the world?
I think I would have to know more of the details of it, but that certainly sounds like a good idea to me. I'm in favor of reducing climate change. So.
Would you feel comfortable that it would be that a law would be put in place making it the law of the land that this was mandatory?
Would I feel comfortable? I guess, yeah. If it's going to help the climate change, then yeah, of course I'd be okay with it.
And how would you support it if it was compulsory? In other words, if they mandated that everybody had to do it?
Yes, I would.
Okay. So even if it went against, say, their religious conscience, they would still have to abide by it?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I think the environment is more important.
I think that in terms of laws with fines, yeah, I think that some monetary penalty might be useful to enforce that.
So if the Pope pushed for a one day of the week, Sunday, to have a mandatory closure, would you be in support of that?
On a Sunday? Sure, most businesses are closed anyway on a Sunday, so that would be the natural day that you would target if you were going to go down that path.
So if a decision was made to have all the pollution factories and all this kind of stuff shut down one day a week, what day of the week would you choose?
Definitely Sunday, I think. Sunday.
Now, if the thought was put out there that one day a week would be selected to let the land rest or let the environment rest, which is in the Pope's encyclical, what day of the week do you think that would be?
I would hope for Sunday.
If you were going to pick a day when everything would have to be closed to lower greenhouse emissions, what day would it be?
Sunday?
A 1 day a week of rest for the environment, what day do you think would be chosen?
Well, I think the natural choice would probably be Sunday.